president has put a hold on promotions for about 200 senior military officials to get his point across. I'm Charlie Butts.
Stocks are moving tentatively as Wall Street waits to see whether a pivotal meeting in the afternoon will help the U.S. government avoid a potentially disastrous default on its debt. The S&P 500 was 0.2% higher. The Dow was edging lower, while the NASDAQ ticked higher. More news online at afn.net. And download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Peter.
Prior to birth, children need our help. Read A Pastor's Notes. God Calls the Church to Stand Boldly for Life by Pastor Joseph Parker.
We are called this day to stand for the innocent and speak out on their behalf.
This collection of essays by Pastor Joseph challenges us to take a public stand to protect the lives of the unborn. A Pastor's Notes is available now at resources.afa.net.
The body of Jesus Christ must speak up.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Issues is the name of this here program. And thank you for listening to AFR on this Monday, May the 22nd, 2023. Good morning, Ed Patagliano.
Good morning to you, and happy May 22nd.
Thank you. Well, same back at you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Chris Woodward. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. It's May 23rd in Australia.
Already?
Who cares, Chris?
We're already treating each other like this. we got a whole week here.
You know what?
Fred's gone. There's no peacemaker.
You're right. I'm going to be encouraging it today.
Encouraging.
Chris, love the shirt. Love the beard.
Thank you.
Hey.
Way to go, brother.
I colored it this way.
You colored your beard?
Yeah, I really have brown hair. I do that touch of gray from Just for Men.
Well, it's worked because you got the touch of gray.
Yeah. I'm waiting on somebody to ask me if my kids are my grandkids.
And that's a great look on you. I just thought I'd encourage you.
Yeah. So,
Positive.
You know what? When I do encouraging Ed, and I do that periodically, people automatically know that it's like a scam. You know, all right, the other shoe's going to drop?
Yeah, it's phony.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's phony.
Here.
Encouraging Ed.
Encouraging Ed.
All right, a lot to talk about today. We hope everybody had a nice weekend. We had a family reunion this weekend. People do. Our family reunion's going out of style.
I think just because everyone lives so far from each other.
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's all the more reason. I know when you're probably 25 and under, you don't care about family reunions, right? Because you don't know these people. Am I right? Huh? And then you get older, and they become more meaningful because you do know these people, because they're your cousins and your aunts and uncles and all like that. I'm just saying, when you're a kid, maybe 25, you just going, we're going where to see who? I don't even know these two people.
Well, now, when I was growing up, we were with family every weekend. We were at somebody's house or someone was at our house. I'm talking about aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents.
Very tight-knit.
Yeah, very tight-knit. Now, beyond that, like what you're talking about, kind of like the second and third cousins or whatever.
That's the kind of family reunion I'm talking about.
We didn't do a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
My dad's side of the family was one of the like Christmas and Easter families where we did holidays. But my wife's side of the family is massive. We are a buffet's worst nightmare, and we get together on a pretty regular basis. So I don't know necessarily that like a reunion is necessary because we see them, and I go to the same church with a lot of the in-laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the kind when you have to get together because people live, in different parts of the country, and you got to plan it a year in advance and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it was a lot of fun, and
Well, good for you.
yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed the weekend. That makes me
Thank you.
happy.
Thank you, encouraging Ed.
Yes.
Thank you. Ed, tell people how they can watch this here program on the internet.
Absolutely, I'll do that. First of all, shout out to Brent Creeley, our producer, who cleaned in here. Smells fantastic. Looks great. Excellent work.
You mean our studio?
Yeah, studio. All right, so folks, if you want to watch us do this radio program in this clean studio, you can do that. There are two ways for that to happen. You can go to Facebook Live and search for Today's Issues. Click through and you can watch the live video stream of this program, or you can go to AFA's streaming platform. That is streaming.afa.net, streaming.afa.net, and you can, it's very simple to set up an account there, and you can not only watch the live video streams of many of your favorite programs, but you can also watch a lot of the video content that AFA has produced and made available.
Chris, what's first?
Well, I want to begin with our top story on afn.net, which is our news ministry's website here. For those that did not catch the program today, our very own Jenna Ellis had an interview with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and they touched on a number of topics, including the elephant in the room, that being when he might or will announce he is going to run for the Republican presidential nomination. So we can begin here with Governor Ron DeSantis on when he will announce. Clip one.
I would just tell people stay tuned. I think we all understand the country is going in the wrong direction. People see that. When I ran for re-election, the majority of Floridians thought Florida was going in the right direction, and a huge majority thought America was going in the wrong direction. So you see the difference between good governance and what that can do, and poor leadership and poor governance. And I would just tell people it doesn't have to be this way. I think Florida showed that there's a path to succeed and to do really big things, and we will have an announcement shortly.
By the way, Jenna, Jenna Ellis, who's on with us, she hosts our show.
Right.
7 to 8 o'clock Central Time each weekday morning. Most people who listen to AFR know that. Jenna, who served in the Trump administration.
She did,
yes. And I just FYI here, if you didn't know, she did interview in February former President Trump on her show as well. So
She's also interviewed Vivek Ramaswamy.
yes, she has.
On Exemplifications.
Exactly. She's personal friends with him.
She's very well connected to the political world. I wouldn't be surprised if she had on everyone eventually who's
Right.
running for the GOP nomination, and
Or the Democrats.
or Democrats if they want to come on.
Right.
She's tough.
But I listened to most of the interview this morning with Governor DeSantis. Again, he's supposed to announce later this week. right?
Thursday was one day thrown out there.
Yeah. He's also addressing in Orlando the annual gathering of the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, which we usually go to here. We didn't go. You and I, Ed, usually go.
Right.
We didn't go to this time, but we do have Abraham Hamilton III's there, and
Yeah.
we do have a team down there.
Right.
In Orlando for the annual NRB convention, and so the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, will be addressing that group this evening, and then again, we're anticipating later this week he will become an official candidate for the GOP nomination. So anyway, it was a very interesting interview. I enjoyed hearing what he had to say. He is this morning on Jenna's program. He is a very he must have a mind that can remember a lot of detail, because she was asking him about different. Do we have clips from this?
We do, yeah.
Jenna was asking him about some of the legislation that got passed in Florida the last few months, and they've just been passing one thing after another that all conservatives would give a big thumbs up to.
Right.
And the reason that the governor has been able to sign this legislation is because they have what they call now a supermajority. And that is, the Republicans control the House and the Senate in Tallahassee to the extent where they can't be denied by the Democrats.
Right.
So basically anything they want to pass, they can pass, and they have passed in the Florida State Legislature. And she was asking him about some of these things, and he was reeling off certain aspects of them or details of them. I found that to be some people call that mawkish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you can't answer questions with facts, people notice that as well.
That's true. I'm not being critical.
No.
I'm just saying that he doesn't answer in generalities. Usually he answers in specifics. So what do you have right now, Chris?
Well, on the issue of, she asked him about a number of things like, where are you on the issue of religious freedom and men and women's sports, things like that. So I've got kind of talking about religious freedom and sports bills. Clip 2.
I think it's absolute. I think partly because it's just something that's fundamental as Americans. It's something that our founding fathers knew was fundamental to a free society. And in this day and age, this crazy age we live in, everything's upside down. Religious liberty has probably never been more threatened. And so it requires people like me in these positions to stand forthrightly in defense of it. So a couple of the things we did, you did mention that bill. So in Florida, our high school athletics have been governed by this basically private body, the Florida High School Athletic Association, and they would do things like not allow schools to do a prayer on the intercom before a football game, and we viewed that as a violation of the religious freedom. And so we have basically reorganized that board so that it's subject to gubernatorial appointments, and we're going to make sure that it's doing what's in the best interest of Florida. Interestingly, that same board, that FHSAA, they drug their feet on our women's sports law that we signed a couple years ago, which basically says in Florida, girls and women athletes have a right to compete with integrity and fairness. And you can't swim on the men's team for 3 years and just switch to the women's team and start racking up championships. That is not right, and that's not allowed.
Well, that's
Where does he stand? Can we not get a straight answer out of this guy? Huh?
that's an excellent answer, and I one of the things I appreciate about both Governor DeSantis and, frankly, Vivek Ramaswamy is they don't back up an inch on these issues where kind of woke ideology has forced a lot of people to hedge what they're trying to say. Both of them speak clearly on those issues. When he spoke about religious liberty, I do want to give a little tease. At the bottom of the hour, we'll have on Jeremy Tedesco of Alliance Defending Freedom. He's a senior VP of corporate engagement. They have developed a way to look at major corporations and see what sort of I'm trying to think of the right word, support they have for the religious freedoms of people that work for them and people who do business with them. And I got to tell you, I was shocked. Disney scored a 5% out of 100% on the issue of religious liberty. So that's an issue that Governor DeSantis is dealing with firsthand in his conflict with Disney, but other corporations we'll be talking about with Jeremy Tedesco. But I like what he had to say. I like Vivek Ramaswamy, both of those gentlemen. I'm sure Tim Scott, who we'll talk about.
By the way, Tim Scott, the senator from South Carolina, is announcing today.
He is right now. They're having a big event in South Carolina. His kind of formal announcement where he stands and there's people behind him.
All right.
And he smiles and kisses babies.
Let me ask you fellas a question, an opinion here. I'm asking you to read somebody's psyche, I guess, or do a psychological analysis.
Okay.
Why do you think all these people are running for president on the Republican side when, for most all of them, their chances are tiny, just tiny, that they would ever reach? If they would have any chance at all.
Well,
let's take Senator Scott, okay? And I am in no way, shape, or form demeaning him as a United States Senator. He's been on our program before. He mentioned how he was a fan of, of my dad's, and he
didn't say that.
Huh?
I remember that.
He's a Christian man, a solid conservative constitutionalist. I mean, there's nothing not to like, to use a double negative about Senator Scott. But I'm just saying. But if you look at where the situation is right now, as far as polls and having Trump and DeSantis ahead of him, and even maybe Nikki Haley, I don't know where she stands exactly. But why do you run?
Well, I again, now this is just speculation. I'm not.
Yeah, no, we're just. I'm just asking you.
Yeah, I think if you're someone like Tim Scott, who is a true believer in the principles that he puts forth and all the kind of things that we like about the senator, you're a true believer, you see where this country's headed, you want to help. So, number one, the motivation, I think, for someone like that is valid. Second of all, you never know. You never know if he's going to catch fire and suddenly we talked about Donald Trump, who, when he said, I'm going to build a wall with Mexico, that
And they're going to pay for it.
and they're going to pay for it. That catapulted him to the front of the line,
Right.
and he never lost that position. So you never know. And then for some people, I would think mainly someone like maybe Nikki Haley or Governor Chris Christie, who, former governor of New Jersey, who's been out of politics, frankly, for a number of years. Maybe you think you're going to extend your political life. You might not get the nomination, but you might get a high-profile position in the administration of whatever Republican might get elected.
So you can always say, when introducing yourself from here forward, you can always say former presidential candidate.
Yeah, you could do that as well, because it's the real deal.
That's
You
what Mike Huckabee uses.
Yeah,
On the television ads that Mike does for, I know Mike, so I can call him Mike.
okay.
That he does for like,
Supplements and stuff.
yeah, things like this. They say former presidential candidate Mike Huckabee, so and so.
There you go.
Said so. So I'm just saying, Ed, you might not throw your hat in the ring, man. That way, all you
You
do.
can have a former presidential candidate.
You can always be called former presidential candidate every time you get on. It doesn't matter whether you're tracking 0.0% support. You can call it
Like
that.
Marianne Williams.
Yeah.
Didn't she run in 2016?
Yeah.
So and she's kind of a new age guru
Right.
kind of thing. So she could say former presidential candidate.
I'm with Ed. I think a lot of them are.
A lot of the Republicans.
A lot of the any
the
presidential
Democrats.
candidate that tends to run, a lot of times they're kind of jockeying for a position in a future administration, but also some of them I do believe want to bring issues kind of into the nation, the national
Like Robert
conversation.
Kennedy is.
Yeah, to have people move into things. For example, Vivek Ramaswamy is big into fighting woke stuff,
Right.
and so he's trying to get people more aware of that and doing something about it. But on the Democratic side of things, and he's not even a Democrat, he's an independent, Bernie Sanders back in 2016 is really the guy that got the ball rolling with the whole Medicare for all and single-payer health care and stuff like that. And because of him, they've moved in that direction.
So you're saying some of these guys and ladies may know they don't have a dog's chance to win, but maybe they have a particular issue they want to promote,
Right.
or they have an eye on raising their profile for a future election.
Sure.
Okay. Or they may want to position themselves to serve in the administration of a president, in their party.
Yeah, I mean, I had never personally heard of Vivek Ramaswamy until he ran for president, and now I've heard him on several occasions, and I'm impressed with him.
Right. I saw.
All right, so that to your point, he's elevated
Yeah.
his public persona, and he's being taken seriously politically.
Yeah. Well, it's it is a big week for Governor DeSantis because when he announces, formally, everybody's pretty well known he's going to run now for a couple of months anyway. Then game on, right?
Right.
Because he will be with former President Trump, who's
He's polling
who's
way ahead.
who's leading in the polls.
56% to DeSantis 19.
Yeah, Governor DeSantis way back second, and then the others are down in the single digits. Right. Vice President Pence, has he even announced? Is he going to announce?
I don't think he's announced yet.
But
Has he?
look, I know Fox just said Pence was polling at 5%.
Pence is in no man's land. Okay. In terms of politically, think about it. I mean, I'm not the first one to say this. The supporters of President Trump don't like the guy.
Right.
Talking about Pence, even though he served faithfully and loyally to Trump for 4 years.
Right.
The Trump supporters, the hardcore Trump supporters, they don't like Pence at all. Pence got kicked out of the club.
Right.
Because he wouldn't resist the certification of the
2020 election.
2020 election.
Right. On the other hand, I mean, if you're a Trump fan and a Trump supporter, why would you want to support? In other words, you're going to support Trump.
Yeah,
But
but
also
I'm talking about yes, but I'm talking about even if Trump weren't there.
Oh, I see.
I don't think the people who are let's say really hardcore supporters of President Trump would ever go for Pence.
Right.
This is what I mean by no man's land, because they view him as somebody who betrayed the president.
I see.
Because remember Trump saying Pence is weak,
Right.
and that he should send the votes back to the states. You remember that?
Right.
That's what that's all about. So, and then so he's not accepted by the loyal Trump supporters.
Right.
And then also, but there's no lane for him over here with people who are looking for a different option.
Yes.
Because the people that are looking for a different option, whether that be DeSantis or somebody else, as opposed to Trump, they're going like, well, I really don't want to support Vice President Pence because he was too close to
Yes.